Today I want to show you the journal that is usually always by my side, my traveler's passport notebook. Some people call it their on-the-go journal or their passport notebook, but to me, it's simply my journal. This is the one that's always with me, either in my bag or on my desk. I keep a lot of journals. I've got travel journals, memory journals, but this one is different. This one sets the boundaries and timetable for my life, and all those other journals, they basically add the color. The main reason I want to show it to you today is because it gets messy, truly messy. And I think you need to see that because I am astounded by how wonderfully clean and aesthetic some of the journals on social media are. And those are wonderful as well, each to their own. But I think that acts as a barrier for a lot of people who want to write but are too afraid of messing up their pristine journals. But we need to remember life is messy, and I don't want the fear of ruining a beautiful notebook to keep you from writing. Putting pen to paper, even if it's just jotting down a task or a reminder, which is what this journal is, has been one of the most therapeutic things I have ever done for my mental health. It lets me move my anxieties out of my mind and onto the page. Now, this is the traveler's notebook in brown. This is the passport. This acts as my schedule keeper for 2025, and it contains notes that I write on the go. And if I have any ideas that I want to flesh out more, I just move that out from here to one of my bigger productivity journals. A big part of what makes this work for me is the bullet journal method. I don't follow it perfectly, not even close, but it showed me a way on how to structure my schedule when I desperately needed one. Before that, I had sticky notes and ideas and half-written reminders all over the house, scattered everywhere. And bullet journaling helped me put all of that in one place. And over time, I have shaped the system to work in this little tiny passport size. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how I've set up my traveler's notebook, the inserts I use, and how I adapt bullet journaling into such a small little space. Now let's start with the setup. Travelers Company and their notebooks are so popular because of their incredibly modular approach. This is the IKEA of notebooks, but a much more elevated one. And because they're modular, you can pick and choose different inserts to suit your needs, and that's why I think this is a great complement to the bullet journaling system, or at least the way I bullet journal. So if you want to see how I've set this up, you can have a look at my journal setup for 2026. This was initially my on-the-go journal and my wallet, but I've removed all of my credit cards and cash from here. It was too bulky as a wallet, and now I use this solely as my scheduling journal. So these are the charms that I got when I was in Japan. This is the brass ballpoint pen, and the pen is attached to a clip. The red pen holder, and you're supposed to attach the clip onto the journal itself, but because I don't want to leave any sort of indentation, I've just left it onto this insert. This is a Superior Labor postcard that I received when I bought some of their badges. This is also the Travelers Company brass clip, which again I have latched on to the back of my insert rather than onto the journal itself. So let's just start with the inserts that I have in here. This is the craft paper in passport size. This just holds some of my coffee cards. This is the leather zipper case. You only get this in Japan. It's also available on the Japanese Travelers Company website. They have it in a couple of colors. I remember I saw one in camel. I saw it in brown as well. So this has a zipper case. It holds some of my cards. This has two flaps in here. I do keep my sticky notes, which I use a lot in this journal. So that goes there. This is the other end of the craft paper, and this just contains another pencil board. This is from the 2024 Love and Trip, Or is it 2025? Because of the releases, I keep getting confused. This is the 2025 Love and Trip, this year's Love and Trip. Because it was released in 2024, I kind of get confused, but this is the 2025, yes. And then onto the insert. So I have two inserts here. I've got the dated weekly insert for 2025, and I've got the standard issue 64 pages MD insert here. We'll start with this. So the dated diary inserts, the weekly inserts, they come in two separate notebooks. The first one from Jan to June and July to December. I've already used up the previous one and I don't need it, so I've just tossed it out, and I now have the July to December. So the first few pages just contain an overview of the dates and the months. I just tend to highlight certain dates in there, nothing important. So this is the monthly overview in the weekly insert. It's in a vertical format. I don't really like this monthly overview, this vertical overview. Firstly, because the space is a little too small for me to jot down anything substantive. And my brain is not really able to, for some reason, retain information when it's listed in this way. I tend to use this to just jot down birthdays. Now the next few pages are the dated items. So let's just flip over to a page that's blank. So this is what the dated pages look like. You've got an overview of the dates from Monday to Sunday. You've got the dates, you've got the days of the week, you've got the calendar here. It says which week it is. Now, I can't show you a lot of the pages that I've actually filled out because they do contain sensitive information, but I'm going to try my best and show you exactly how I bullet journal in this. Now with bullet journaling, the first few pages of the notebook are usually reserved for your monthly logging or your future log. And what that is it's basically a overview of things that you would like to accomplish in that particular month, or there's certain events that you need to keep in mind. And that's what you use the front of the pages for, to monthly log. Now, as we had seen in this insert, there are no blank pages on the front. You start off straight with the dates. Now there are some blank pages at the back of this insert. I think only around 8 or 10 pages, but I don't use this to list my monthly log. I use this to keep track of other things. What I do instead is I actually use the sticky notes that I have on here. I use the sticky notes to list out the dates or the tasks that I want to get done in that particular month. And it really depends. I have two sizes. It doesn't really matter which one I use, depends on which one I have at hand. And I tend to use these. And once I'm done with that particular task for that particular month, I just throw them out. So this is an example. I think I'm going to have to do a lot of blurring out when I show some of these pages, but usually at the beginning of the month, I'll just list down certain important tasks, reminders, or events that I need to be aware of, stick it onto the page, and just have that at hand. And because it's colorful, it's easy for me to spot. And once I'm done, I'll just tear it out and toss it in the bin. I don't bother keeping these. So nothing elaborate, really simple, no hand-drawn calendars, no elaborate spreads, just the sticky note for my monthly log. Now, the main aspect of the bullet journaling is the daily log. And that's the heart of the bullet journaling system. And what you do in your daily log is basically list your tasks, your appointments, any random thoughts, small notes or ideas. Now, since I have this with me most of the time, a lot of it is written in the moment, but on Sunday evenings or Monday mornings, I do like to have a quick review of what's in store for the week. So for that, I'll have my phone with me or my laptop to go through my online calendar, and I'll just do a quick check of any pending tasks from the week before, and then I'll jot it all down for the week I'm reviewing. And on those days when I'm sitting down to write, that's when my bullet journal is at its cleanest. That's when I also have time to highlight certain events. I tend to highlight events or birthdays with a blue highlighter. This is from my liner. I love this brand of highlighters. And just to keep it consistent, I stick to one color so that I remember that anything that's highlighted in blue is an event that I have to go to. Another thing with events is I like to segregate it to the side, especially when I know it's going to be a busy week, just so I remember it. Such as in this case, the events are listed on the side just so that there is a segregation between actual tasks and events. Now with this journal, I don't overthink it. I don't decorate it. I just write down what I need to get out of my head that day. Now some pages are neat and some pages look like I wrote them when I was half asleep. Now at the bottom right of the page is a blank space. This doesn't have any date assigned to it. It's just got the calendar on the side. And I tend to use this space to jot down any projects I want to focus on that week or any important tasks. Sometimes it might be something as simple as a shopping list. Now this is the Midori index clip. I tend to use this as a bookmark and I absolutely love it. It's snug. It fits perfectly onto the paper and it doesn't move around. Now the third part of my journal is the blank insert, 64 pages, empty paper in white. And this is my catch-all. Anything that doesn't belong on the daily insert kind of goes here. I've also created two tabs here. One is called List and Information. These tabs are from the sticker set that Travelers Company releases every year. And with lists, I just have all of my ideas, product ideas, my YouTube ideas. Information just contains a list of tools I want to use, any books I might want to read, etc. And so this kind of acts as a brain dump on the go. I also use this to jot down any learnings for that particular week. Mondays are what I call my education day. I pick one video on YouTube that talks about something I want to learn. And right now it's about YouTube and I just write notes from it. I do this sitting down, giving it my full attention, and that's why the notes look so neat. This isn't something I do on the go just because I won't remember anything. And that's why it looks really neat and clean. I've got a few highlights here and there. So this notebook really just contains anything, books I want to read, ongoing projects, packing lists, ideas for videos, etc. And this insert is where the bullet journaling method merges with journaling and becomes something more personal. Any idea that I write here that I want to flesh out, I just transfer that on into my productivity journal. Now with bullet journaling, I don't use the symbols perfectly. I don't migrate every task. I don't keep immaculate trackers. And it's not on purpose. I just don't bother. If I'm too strict with myself on how I think it should look or how pretty and neat handwriting should be, then I won't end up writing it. And because this is small, it forces me to write only what really needs to be done. And therefore, I really appreciate the size of the passport. I can flip it open and just jot down the first thing that comes to my mind, and that's it. I don't think about neatness. This is not productivity for productivity's sake. It's just adding some clarity to your week. Let me show you a few recent pages so you can see what it really looks like. I can't show a lot of it because it's personal, but to keep it real, let me just flip through a few pages and I'll just let my blurring tool do all of the heavy lifting. So some days are packed, some days aren't, some days don't even have schedules on them, just lists and doodles. Some are neat and some aren't. And this is just real life. It doesn't need to be aesthetic to be meaningful. It just needs to work for you. If you want to start journaling, keeping a schedule journal, a bullet journal, I think is the easiest journal to begin with, because even if you don't have anything interesting to write about, the quickest way to put pen to paper and get to writing is to just note down your task. It could be as simple as noting down which day is laundry day. And messy is honest. Messy means you're actually using it. The Traveler's Passport notebook has become my little companion that keeps me in check, and the hybrid bullet journal system that I use inside it is what keeps me consistent because it's so simple. So if you want to turn your journaling into a habit, just make it easy, make it small, make it imperfect, and more importantly, just write. Now, if you've enjoyed this flip through and want to see more Traveler's Notebook videos, setups, or journaling ideas, Subscribe to the journal journey and do let me know in the comments if you'd like a deeper dive into any part of the setup. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.